This very morning as we keep up with you and keep up with the stories that really do matter. Oh, yes, I tell you about it. It really does matter. Okay, well, the Nigerian Senate did take time to extend their views with regards to the Nigerian budget as well in days to come. But before I do share on that, it was also an interesting out just to listen to the Benue government. It was at an event to SGF Akume, but while that conversation added off, there was also that moment on ease between Honorable Agbe and Governor Elia. I don't know whether to say it was on ease, but they had their ideas that were completely from how things should be. But take a listen as they shared their perspective to things, and that did go down.
That's it, Morning Crossfire.
The state and us, the citizens in the state, have so many things in common. The things us than any element that will stand to divide us. All things considered, at the end of it all, it's not about Senator George Akume, it's not about Father Alia, it is about Benue State. Please, let us shift Benue State forward.
Members of the National Assembly Council have mandated me to take Your Excellency Mr. God. We said you are not doing well. Anyone who wants to end the illusion that there are certain persons who do not like Your Excellency, that they are being lies. We mean well for this state. The National Assembly Council, we are ready to come with you to make Benue the best.
We are celebrating events in 70 years. My appointment as second government of the Federation by His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu. It's a great time. A proud man who is at home with everybody. Such a big God.
This is Morning Fire.
All right, I'm a bit part of that. I can't take the version of that. Well, here is what Nigerian Senate decided. The president of the Senate, Senator Godswill Akpabio, talked about why they did what they did in terms of budgetary reworking to extend it a little bit more and the likes of that. But let me see. Okay. I'll take out of the debates with regards to the 2024 budget, how they arrived at that. Now, I'll also let you in on some of the other conclusions that were shared. Take a listen to a part of the debate that did take up the 2024 budget into law. I'll just take snippets, different points of it, okay?
This is Morning Crossfire.
308 billion 690 of the Senate standing order to enable us consider and approve the request of Mr. President and Commander-in-Chief on the securitization of the outstanding debit balance of 7 trillion 388 billion 696 million in the Consolidated Revenue Fund, the federal government of Nigeria, that was just referred to the Committee of the Whole. Mr. President, with your permission, I wish to move a motion, Senate, to resolve the Committee of the Whole, consider the request of Mr. President. I so move.
Mr. President, the Senate do resolve into Committee of the Whole, consider the request of the President and Commander-in-Chief. Say aye. Don't say nay. The ayes have it. Of the President's correspondence that this Senate do approve the securitization of the outstanding debit balance of 7 trillion 188 billion 696 million 34,520 naira 87 kobo in the CFR as at December 11. Those in support of the approval say aye. Those against nay. The ayes have the securitization of the 7.8 trillion is hereby approved.
Of the bill were to all subcommittee or scrutiny. Mr. President, I wish to state here that the submission and defense of the budget report by subcommittee before the appropriation committee was for 5 days, Wednesday 30 to Sunday 17 December 2023. However, this was later extended to another 4 days between Monday 18 to 21st of December due to delay experiencing by some city to meet the MDAs and among their reports with their House of Representative counterpart. Still on page 3, in the subcommittee on conclusion of the House report with the House of Representative counterpart submitted and defended the 2024 report before the Committee on Appropriation. Revenue Assumption for 2024 Appropriation Bill. In preparing this of 2024 Appropriation Bill, the committee adopted the medium-term expenditure strategy paper approved National Assembly as shown below, but later up to the one submitted by executive. And the assumption as stated, highlight of the 2020 appropriation bill. After due consideration of the submission by subcommittee and interaction with relevant stakeholders, the highlight of the bill as read by the committee as aggregate expenditure 28 trillion 777 billion 404 million 73,861 naira. Statutory transfer 1 trillion 742 billion 788 million 780,150. Recurrent expenditure 8 trillion 768 513 million 380,850. Capital expenditure 9 trillion 995 billion 143 million 298 naira.
This is Morning Crossfire.
The Morning Crossfire.
Nothing breaks the news like the news. Trust me, I can prove it. I do it every morning on Morning Crossfire from 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. on Nigeria Info 95.1. I'm Femi D. Amede. Join the biggest conversation around the national politics every day. Where it's trustworthy, full of passion, and yes, covers the biggest politics and the stories that matter to you. See, you have all the reasons to find out going on in Nigeria and be different. Let's talk. That's the way to go, even this morning.
This is Nigeria Info. Nigeria Info. is Nigeria Info. Nigeria Info. This 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 is Nigeria Info.
Mondays to Friday on YouTube to catch up with the Morning Crossfire. This is
The GDP stood at 3.88%. Mr. President, my dear colleague, it is important to state that at this Committee on Appropriation worked closely with the executive arm of government in processing the bill. Through the closely and harmonious appropriation process, the executive further request additional funding and some items of expenditure to the committee, which were not included in the bill as submitted by the executive, in order to accommodate the request. And the following adjustments are made on the bill. 1. Foreign exchange differentials. 2. The GOE revenue increase. 3. The GOE personnel reduction. 4. Service-wide vote wage adjustment. And 5. Reduction from SWI. Observation. To observe as follows. 1. The appropriation bill was presented to the National Assembly late, and this is against the Fiscal Responsibility Act that required the bill to be presented for less than 3 months before the next financial year, which puts intense pressure on processing of the bill. 2. The provision of multilateral and bilateral funded project in the sub-trillion, 51 billion, 114 million, 486, 314. 3. Inconsistency in revenue of the government-owned enterprise. Removal of some agencies' personnel cost from the FGM payroll. 5. Inadequate funding and shortfall in some MDA's budgetration. 6. Provision of capital component is higher than compared with the previous budget sent to the National Assembly. 7. Request for additional funding on items of expenditure not originally contained in the bill. Recommendation. Arising from the above observation, the recommend does. 1. Ensure thorough scrutiny of the budget proposal. The executive should comply with the provision of the Fiscal Responsibility Act. 2. Executive ensure compliance with the provision of relevant and extant law as it concerns the G. 3. Agencies from the FGM budget should step up their revenue generation, fund itself, and remit more to the. 4. Provision of additional fund NDAs not appropriately funded. 5. Executive branch is encouraged to sustain the increased capital component over the to ensure developmental program across the. And 6. Additional were made available for some days. Consequently, Mr. Distinguished colleague, given that consideration has been followed in the 2024 appropriation bill, the committee further recommend that is considered and approved the bill act to authorize the issuance from the concerning fund the total sum of 28 trillion 777 billion 404 million 73,861 61 naira, only of which 1 billion 742 billion 786 788,150 naira only statutory transfers, while 8 trillion 170 billion 160 million 606,831 only is for service. So 8 trillion 768 billion 513 million 380,852 only for recurrent non-debt expenditure, while the sum of 9 trillion 995 billion 143 million 298,028 naira only is for contribution to the development fund for capital expenditure for the year on 31st day of December 2024. Conclusion. On behalf of the committee, we wish to thank the President of the Senate and the entire Senate leadership and colleagues for the support given the committee in processing this. We also appreciate the appropriate committee for their cooperation and understanding of the substances of processing. Thank you.
This is More Fire.
All right, eventually they arrived at the point where the passage was done. There were also made by the speaker. Let's take a listen to the speaker to say when that debates and presentations were on.
Thank you.
Those in favor that the sum of 12 trillion, 3 million, 6 million 984, 3 please stand as part of this BI. Those say nay, the ayes have it. Party deduction. 1 trillion 500 billion 632 million 513 naira. Those for that this start of this bill, please say aye. Those in favor, those against say nay, the ayes have it. Part Federal Government of net Federation revenue. Share of Federation revenue 12 trillion 236 billion 637 naira 637,470 naira. Those in favor that this time as of this schedule say aye. Those are here, the ayes have it. Schedule Part B, total independent revenue 1 trillion 907 billion 775,748 naira. Those in favor that this stand as part of the schedule say aye. Those against say nay, have it. Schedule Part E, to evidence 337 billion 927,133 naira. Those in favor aye. Those against say nay, have it. Schedule Part F, aid and grants 685 billion 62,294,000. Those in favor that this stand as of this schedule say aye. Those against say nay, the ayes have it. Part G, special list accounts transfer to CRF and CDF. Special levies account 300 billion. Those in favor that this stand as part of schedule say aye. They say nay, the ayes have it. Government-owned enterprises, GOEs, revenue net operating surplus 3 trillion 645 billion 80,469 naira only. Stand those in favor that this stand as part of this schedule say aye. Those against say the ayes have it. Schedule Part 1, orders. Total 1 trillion 465 billion 624,570 naira. Those in favor that this should start for schedule say aye. Those are the ayes have it. Part J, statutory transfer. 1 trillion 742 billion 86,788 naira. Though of that should start say 70 billion 6 naira. And this trillion no trillion 700,000 do if it have it. Let's million 9,300,000 I 20 and bill 4,000 something say please. Plus one you start by plus C plus plus 4 plus C I plus 6 plus 8 plus
But the Danes now don't very native. Back to ecstasy, where the scene will be done. As a one left, it's a change from the first one. The same as if you were change that to the civil date because the had some to use of the ice shoes is got rude the price of the horse but even though and there is happening in doing yes and on mission made our let proper be reasons me can do that and we at last some of them are sick the you way to the kids how can happen so I thought probably and I say it say the food that's of contrast to you but house getting both bed for then split to say who said to see in story and that was that is on as far we want to be semi to also be next and not that in the back without well I just get you deep here the new as trend last actually but you don't get your message naturally but there's something I'm sure your station at what silly was could be in vain listen you provide video as the so we just train and it points that we get sorry let's go let's see on the don't have 4 I'm just about even letting time to say morning to come good yes yeah it's so from the get really cool like to live yeah thanks to have for all there is the allowed to the come right that's all for the one for the store good morning yeah man come on John
outside politics independent this one. If we need those that are handling this farm project, legal to like take your records of finance for creative. We have noticed something. The Western media, I know where the way arts, tell government, this news government, how to say, tell and they post.
That's wide, but it's okay. No problem. I'm saying that thanks for being agree. You can money, be perfect. Keep ready in fancy is lot now. There's a lot of it. So you may bring out joint more of small. It's a trend on unveiled. So part of there's already keep money.